Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Bank scam, the PNB bank scam that refuses to go away. It's now the third or fourth day that PGurus has started covering this, and we have been getting a lot of feedback on the interviews and articles that we have put out thus far. There have been articles pro one software versus the other, and we at PGurus go by facts. We look at the facts and let the viewer decide what is truth and what is not. But to make these things even more clear, today we have a banking expert who has spent over 20 years in working at a PSU bank. He is a personal relations officer. He has spent time in Chennai as well as in Delhi. He has moved at all the circles. He understands intimately the problem at hand that has been shown at PNB. So to discuss all this and more, let us welcome Prime Point Srinivasan. Srinivasan ji, welcome to PGurus channel.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so now let me ask you the question, sir. Now you have you've been at Corporation Bank for many years. So since this is the first time you are coming on PGurus channel, could you please give us a brief introduction about yourself and what role you used to play in Corporation Bank?
I was a banker. I was a branch manager. Even I was heading the PR department at Delhi, and I was a liaison officer for the Parliament and Government of India on behalf of Corporation Bank. Then I took a VRS in 1998 to start my own communication consultancy. So I have been running a PR and communication consultancy till recently. Now, because of my health reasons, I am not continuing, but I am active in giving consultations and providing classes to the budding journalists and communication professionals. And even I am running an e-magazine pre-since.
Now, in terms of, we want to just identify or isolate one thing that PGurus has been highlighting, which is the specific software that underwent a change. We had something for many years at many of the banks, including Corporation Bank, which is from LaserSoft Solutions. And then that software got jettisoned for another software from Infosys. Sir, were you there at Corporation Bank at that time? And can you just walk us through what really happened at that point? What was the need? What was the reason for switching over to the software from Infosys?
Actually, I was there witness for Corporation Banks going for a technology. Probably the Corporation Bank was the first bank to go in for technology even before all the banks. And LaserSoft provided the solution. At the time, the management was very happy about that. And LaserSoft was the only solution then. They were in the COBOL. And COBOL language is a robust language. Even today, I understand that the Bank of America and Citibank are using COBOL. Then subsequently, there was an instruction from RBI that everybody should go for Oracle. That's why the change has happened now. But even the LaserSoft is able to provide a Oracle solution, and they are already there with some other bank also. And in fact, there is no, in my opinion, as I understand, it would have been much better. Even the banking industry could have continued in COBOL, and instead of in the Oracle, probably at Oracle's marketing is very heavy. Today, I understand that the banking industry is spending more than 20,000 crores towards maintenance and license fee, which were to be in the COBOL language, and definitely it would not be more than 1,000 crores. That's what I understand from the various experts. But anyway, now the LaserSoft has provided a core banking solution to RBI also. Now the Corporation Bank has recently gone in for the new solutions with Finacle. But even today, even after 2-3 years, the Finacle is not functioning very well. Even there has been a lot of hue and cry among the officers. Officers organization has given a lot of representation to the management. They have posted even in the website. And even today, when I wanted to check my balance online, the balance shows something and the statement of account shows some other balance. Actually, today morning, I had to call up my branch and find out what is my balance in my account. This is how the Finacle is, it has become a mess, and even some of the standards assets are being shown as non-performing assets. Maybe for them it is a small thing, but for a borrower, the CIBIL rating will get affected.
Just so we understand the timeline, Mr. Srinivasan. So at Corporation Bank, you initially had LaserSoft solution, and then Corporation Bank switched to Oracle, and then from Oracle it switched to Finacle. Is that correct?
That is Oracle based. Finacle is the brand name of that software.
Oh, okay. So this is,
they use Oracle. They use Oracle.
Okay. So when you say Oracle, what you are trying to say, I think, is that Finacle uses the Oracle database server at the back end, but yes, the software itself is like what the client sees is something called Finacle from Infosys.
Infosys.
Yeah. Okay.
Infosys and Wipro are the partners. Wipro is the installation partner.
Okay. Okay. So now I understand. So essentially, the switch was from LaserSoft to an Oracle-based software that was being provided by Infosys. And this, according to you, even today, it has some really teething problems. It can scare customers. It can also affect your CIBIL rating, which means that your credit rating could go down. You could go for a loan and you could get rejected based on not your actual record, but how it is being represented by this software. Am I correct?
Yes, that is the basic. Basically there are certain problems in the software. That's what even today morning I have experienced. The balance shown in my online account balance is something, and the statement of account when I go there and the balance shown is there is different. And I had to call up the branch to find out which is the correct balance for me. This is how you can't, even sometimes the ATMs also not able to function. Yeah. This is where the lot of problems are there in the Finacle even after 2-3 years.
Now, you are a banking professional. You probably have some friends at Corporation Bank, so you can easily get access to your actual records and you can straighten it out. But for the common person, common man, this could be a really massive problem. How do you think Infosys Finacle is addressing such teething problems?
That is for the management. Today, many customers have left. That is what my friends in the Corporation Bank say, because of the Finacle problem. Many of the customers, in fact, I feel sad being one of the persons in the Corporation Bank, which was built brick by brick, stone by stone, with all the energy we built the organization. They are now demolishing the institution like anything. No, the customers are driven out.
Okay, so so here is where the thing really rankles. There was an existing robust software from LaserSoft. Then the diktat comes from above that everyone should switch over to a new software, which is 25 times the cost of the existing software. And when you switched over this, first of all, the switchover is not smooth, and the customers are continuing to find problems. Now, a thing like this, was it only to Corporation Bank that the diktat came from above, or did it come from for all the public sector undertaking banks? This is to the best of your knowledge.
All the public sector undertakings have the similar problem, I am told. Oh. Because Finacle is being used by many other banks, because they have a political influence. Even the small vendors, desi vendors are being they can't have a muzzle power to fight with these giants.
Well, this goes completely against the initiative of Prime Minister Narendra Modi when he says "Make in India." Here was a company called LaserSoft which built everything from ground up. They bootstrapped themselves. They worked hard for 20 years, and then they had a very small set of customers. That is all the public sector undertaking banks. And when they lost out to that, Mr. Kamath was forced to do a fire sale. He sold the company to Polaris for a pittance. Because
definitely.
I mean, I look
definitely.
Yeah.
And even he was not, unfortunately, the person who has built up the corporation bank's software technology right from the scrap, he was not allowed to participate in the tender when the Finacle was approved. They were not even allowed to go and participate in the tender. That was the say. In fact, I would rather say, boldly, I would rather say, the Government of India and the Central Vigilance Commission should institute a vigilance inquiry right from the scrap, right from the first day of tender call for incorporation bank, and they must find out why this has happened, whether it was right, whether the tenders, the prices were correctly quoted, and there should be a deep inquiry on that.
So you're demanding a CBI inquiry into the procedures and processes that happened at Corporation Bank when the switchover happened, and
not only in Corporation Bank, many of the software vendors, many of the software purchases in many banks, that can be inquired. Now that Nirav Modi's PNB scam, yesterday I saw in PGurus that it is opening up another Pandora box also. That software scam also may come out. Let them examine it. Let them examine it. Why there was there really needed, whether from COBOL platform to Oracle platform, which would have been much more cheaper. Now today, international banks like Citibank and American Express, Bank of America, they are all using the COBOL platform only in a very successful manner. But how is that in India it cannot work?
I think you raised some excellent questions, Mr. Srinivasan, and there is much to ponder for the investigative agencies. I think we will leave it at that. I'm going to come back to you in a few days, sir, after we've had some feedback and inputs on what has transpired in this conversation, because I do know for a fact that many organizations, including the Central Bureau of Investigation, do follow PGurus, and I'm very grateful to them for following us. And this matter will be looked at the highest levels in these organizations. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us.
One more point I want to add, that security auditing by the banks. In fact, the Gopalakrishna committee report, it wants that security audit to be done and incorporated in the balance sheet every year after 2011. When I was the president of Cyber Society of India in 2011 or 2012 itself, we gave a representation to Reserve Bank of India. The security auditing should be done by the competent security professionals. RBI should empanel them and they should allot them to the banks at random, like they allot the chartered accountants. But till date, RBI has not done that. All the banks, they use their own close people as security auditors, and none of the security lapses are being brought out. So this is a high time that PNB scam open up another Pandora box. The security auditors should be enlisted by the Reserve Bank of India, and they should be sent to the banks for auditing at random, and they should be rotated. This has to be done immediately. Otherwise, again, so many scams will come up.
That's an excellent point you bring out, sir. So we have much to ponder, and at this point, I'd like to log off by saying that these issues are systemic in nature. This is not just one bank, one instance, one customer. Now, some of these things were recommended but have not been followed up for whatever reasons. Now, in a previous interview, we had suggested some other radical changes. So I hope that the government looks at this problem in its entirety and starts coming out with some really quick solutions. The solutions have already been suggested. Recommendations have been made. All they need to do is act on them. Will you do it? Because the nation really trusts the banking system, and you want to repose that trust and faith that the people have put in you, Mr. Narendra Modi. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.